Thank you for joining us. Today's topic is going to be Sage Intelligence for the financial reporting, financial statements, balance sheets, income statements, trial balances, things like that. Next week, we will be covering non-financials, or like customer reports, things like that. Okay. I'm going to turn my camera off so it's not a distraction here. I think I'm going to turn my camera off. Okay. Let me use that here. Okay, so in Sage 100, back in 2010 with the retirement of FRX, they came out with a program called, for Sage Intelligence. And then it took a few years to kind of grow a little bit. So starting about 2019, Sage Intelligence became the Excel reporting tool for Sage 100. So everybody pretty much has it for financial reporting. Then with some additions, it is available for users to generate non-financial reports. So like I said, today is going to be focused on financial reporting. So you see on your Sage menu, Sage Intelligence Reporting. And let me make sure we got the date here. And we go, my purposes, I go into Report Manager. There's two different types of user. Report Manager will allow you to create reports, edit reports, and design reports, and delete reports when they're no longer needed. A report viewer can simply run reports and not affect the original template. Okay, so we're going to go into Report Manager. And you're going to come up with a screen that looks like this. And I come down here. I've created a folder for demonstration financial reports. Then you highlight the report you want. Here's one I did for lots as a proof of concept for a customer a while back on lot status. There are some reports that do come with the program: sales, customer sales, purchases, what are you buying from the vendors, and inventory, essentially a stock status. Okay. So my focus today will be strictly on the financials. So you highlight your report, and all you have to do is click on Run. Now, this report takes about 30 seconds to run, and I know we live in the age of instant gratification where we click our buttons and see our results now, but some things do take a little bit of time to run. There are occasions where if you're running consolidated financials or running financial reports for multiple companies at one time, it can take 5 to 10 minutes to generate it, depending on how much data you have and how many companies you're adding into the report. Okay, so now I've got my spreadsheet. Took about 30 seconds to run, and I have. I always start off my reports with a values parameters page. So it gives me the company I'm using, the year, what period I'm using, what budget for budgets, and if I'm doing anything for with the trees, in this case with my segments of the GL account, then it's you can designate it down here. Now the purpose of having a values page is, as you can see, I have a bunch of reports down here. So the way I design reports is I can do each one of the reports is going to refer to the company here. Each one of the reports is going to refer to the year here and period. So all I got to do is change my period or change one of my parameters, and it will change it for all the reports. So that's a pretty convenient factor instead of going to each report and generating and changing the dates as is. Okay. You have virtually no limit to what you can do with the financial reports. I find myself over the years having basically being limited by my own imagination or the imagination of the customer that's asking me to design reports for them. So here is a summary type of trial balance. And it's always nice to see my balance sheets my trial balances are all in balance based upon the type. And then you break it down a little bit more, and then the actual record type here, and the class, so on and so forth. Okay. Um, this is a trial balance, and we're going to build one of these in a second here. Have a balance sheet, and this income statement, current period, year to date, and current versus the same period last year. Same period last year here. Actual versus budget. Okay, just a regular income statement for a particular. Oh God, I'm sorry. This is a trend report. I didn't do this properly here. So this is a trend report, and what I'm thinking, let me come down here and yeah, okay. So remember when I at the front page, I had my tree pointing at a particular location. So when I got to my trend report, that's what I'm pointing at. So everything here is the location. So I can come in here and trees, let's say here, and locations. And okay, I'm gonna come down in here, come back to my parameters, drag all locations in there, and then come back in here. My trend report is all locations, and the numbers have changed before I even get back to that page. That's just one of the features that we can do. I design it into the actual report when I've been tasked to design reports. Okay, you can show the account numbers or not, and then here's an income statement by departments. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a trial balance, and I've already put the account numbers over here, and this is accomplished list. Okay, by simply taking one of my lists and just dragging it out onto the screen and getting rid of the columns that I don't need, and now I can get started. Okay, so now everything here is formula driven. So I'm going to come in here, formula driven. So I'm going to go with closing balance, drag it over here, and I come up here, click on my formula button, and my GL link is going to be over here in column A8, and I'm going to anchor it based on the column. I hit tab, and I'm going to come back to my parameters for the year, and anchor it. And I'm going to come back over to parameters again for my period and the company. And then I'm good to go. Now, one of the things I passed over in that part of it was because I'm doing a beginning balance for May. So I'm going to tell it that I want the period to be what I've designated -1. And then that's all there is to it. Now it gives me the beginning balance for um, for the period before. Okay, actual. So I want the net change in for that period. I'm going to come over here, drag this over here, and go through the same thing. And then I'm going to come down here because I only want the debits for the period and the balance type. I'm just going to type in debit there. And then I'm going to come over here and copy, paste it in there, come in here, change my debit type to a credit. And then on my net change field, I'm going to blank this out altogether. So I have my net change. Everybody with me on that? Any questions there? Feel free to type any questions you have into the chat, and I'll try to keep up. But most of the questions I'll tackle at the end of the presentation. But if anything just pops in your head, just let me know, and I will try to address it. Okay, then I'm going to take this, my ending balance, and I'm going to copy over here, bring over here, and paste. And then I'm just going to come up here and get rid of my -1. So I've got my beginning balance, debits, credits during the period, net change, and the ending balance. So what I'm going to do here next, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to format my numbers. Number, I like the parentheses. Show it in red there. And then I'm just going to come down and copy my formulas down. Subtotal the periods. Do an auto sum. And top and bottom border and bold it. And then come over here and drag it across. Everybody with me on this? And essentially, I've just created a brand new report in very, very little time. Let's see if we have any, get the questions up there. No. Well, if I could get back into the chat, I can address any questions we might have. No, that's not it. Here we go. Chat. Okay, so nobody's in the entered anything into the chat. So just kind of carry on here. And there's my trial balance. It's always good to see that my my accounts are all in balance here. Okay, priors like that. Little tips and tricks you have here is because the revenue accounts are natural credit balance accounts, we account for that so we don't see it in red by just sticking a little minus sign in front of the formula. Okay, and then we have here on your formulas for the trial balances and for the balance sheets. We almost always use closing balance. However, for the debits and credits. So the activity within the period, we want to use actual or actual year to date. The opening balance I usually use with statements of cash flows, closing balance, balance sheets, and trial balances, actual year to date, budgets, current year, current period like that. I rarely use these. I'm doing something on the fly. I can deal with the account description down here on the bottom. Now, many of you have your chart of accounts divided up into segments. So what you can do is we can actually, let's see, not the trend, but okay, here's by location. So in the case of my demo data, the location is the third segment. So what I do over here is I use the natural account number, and then I come over here, my trees or locations. Everybody with me on that? I want to leave anybody behind. I want to cover as much as I can for the time allotted. Okay, let's move this out of here. BI tools. Okay. So now with the tree, let's come up here and say locations here. I'm going to edit this. So I tell it, what company. In this case, I can design this report for any company. And the real key is that your segments are pretty much the same from company to company. I use wildcards. I mean, I don't care. Give me the anything in the natural account number, the main account number. Okay, I don't care about the middle of segment because that's departments. And then I want everything that has an O1 at the end of it. And then here's a list of all the accounts that are O1. And then over here, I'm using them to basically roll up into all locations. Okay. And you can do a tree, pretty simple for the individual departments and like that, but you can use any combination of the trees and or the, what am I trying to say? The different segments, combination segments, roll them up into one, rearrange them if you like, whatever works for your purposes. Another thing you can do that Sage has the ability to do, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to unhide. Okay. So now let's say with some of the things you can do is I'm going to insert a blank row and I can use wildcards. So I can say, give me any account that begins with a 4. Okay. So I just do a 4 followed by the wildcards. Type in whatever I'm doing there, and then just copy my formula down. Everybody with me on that part? And you can do that anywhere. So you can do any combinations of these accounts. You can do ranges in here. Like that, give you some pretty much the same range. You can do ranges. Minus, just for grins. Let's do it this way. Minus, okay, and then just pops in there right away. So, like I said at the very beginning, the program is very easy to use. It's very quick. If you have any affinity for Excel, then you can bring things up right away, and it's very simple to get the handle on to deal with your financial reporting. Now, one of the other really nice things is if I want to see what went into this number here, it offers you the ability to drill down. I drill down. Okay, so that's everything that comprised of that particular number in there. And I can even take it a step further and pick any one of them, right click and drill down again. And now it's looking at all the transactions that went into that previous number. So here I have all the transactions in detail that went into this number. And then this entire sheet here is what derives this number here. Okay. And I think the last little trick I'm going to show you here is we're all accustomed to um, uh, compiling or shortening our, condensing our report. So I come over here, I uncheck, I don't want to see any of my 0 rows, and I just come in here and I've made the report that much shorter or more condensed. And I usually build this into almost all of my reports. And it's just a matter of a formula here. So essentially, you do not have to have tremendous Excel skills. I certainly don't have tremendous Excel skills. I can say I probably, on a good day, I'm probably maybe an intermediate user. But you don't really need to have super duper Excel skills. If you do have those, Superman Excel skills, then you will be that much ahead of the game. So at this point, break it off for any questions. If you want to, so we don't have any, no questions so far. Did I address all your questions? Let's do this, see if I can. No? Okay. So, now with Sage Intelligence, the you have two types. You do have financial reporting, and you do have non-financial reporting, which goes outside the general ledger arena. And Sage itself, when you have starting, I think about 2000 or maybe 2022, everybody had the ability to do the financial report designer. What would be an additional acquisition, if you want to go there, would be if you have a desire for consolidated financials, there is an additional module for purchase there. Same thing if you want to go outside the arena to the non-financial arena, there's some additional considerations there, but it is all very, very simple. Any questions? Okay. And one last thing here. I'm going to delete what I did here. And once I have done my editing or changing it like that, all I do is come back to my report manager. I highlight my report and I click Save Excel Template. Okay, just say yes to virtually everything there. And it's going to go through and save everything. Now, one additional feature, if anybody is so inclined, are Sage itself in the Sage City. You do have a whole bunch of free reports that you don't have to have any special considerations for. And they are up in Sage City, and they have a bunch of them. I think last time I counted, there was about 40 of those reports. And and these are people that have just designed reports and uploaded them here. Let's do one here. Everybody's favorite geo transactions, including beginning balance. So I'm going to come in here. Okay, fiscal year 2025. Come on. And period 5. Click OK. Okay. Well, I know this works because I just did it yesterday. Okay, so here's your general ledger detail report. I know many of you, especially in the finance department, live in this report. And here you have the opening balance, the net activity, and the closing balance, and all the activity in that particular period. Okay, so these are kind of reports that people out there and like myself and with other partners like that, just kind of design reports, say this can be useful to somebody, so they just do it, design it, and send it in. Let me do this here. Let's say here, give this a shot. This is non-financial, and set your parameters. And this is good for like a purchasing manager. And let's see. And what did I receive this month? PO number, receipt number, all sorts of things that can be fairly useful for you there. I like that. And we can go into this a little bit more next time when we next week when we talk about the non-financial reports. The bottom line here is that you have a very nice tool. Those of us that enjoy using Excel, we all know Excel has conquered the world. It is the single most used business application in the world. And if you've tried exporting your stock reports, your crystal reports that are built into the program out to Excel, you've had, we'll just say, spotty results. Sometimes good results, other times not so good results. So anyway, that is my presentation for today. Do we have any questions? Last chance for kind of questions here. No? Okay. Well, then I will thank everybody for attending, and hope everybody enjoyed this, and looking forward to see you next week for the non-financials. And please reach out to us at Oasis. If you have any questions, if you want to pursue any of this further, you're welcome to reach out to me. My email is dstjohn@oasisky.com. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have on the particular subject matter. Thank you, everybody, and y'all have a great day.